My excitement for this game reaches higher than the highest heights in all the 9 realms as Sony Santa Monica decided this is it. We are not doing this story in 3 games, we are doing it in 2. God of War Ragnarok is the epic conclusion to this Norse saga for the duo of Kratos and Atreus. Despite Kratos wanting nothing to do with all these crazy gods and their problems, when your son is one of them, he's gotta do something. And that's all I really want to say about this story because it's a major selling feature of this game and there's a lot that happens in this sequel. Now for this trophy guide episode, I really want to be cautious when covering the trophies and sensitive to people who have not played this yet. The story is very important to this game, and seeing how it's brand new, I don't want to be the reason you get spoiled without properly warning you. Even though I'm not covering the main story, some of it might get spoiled while covering the side stuff for the trophies. So the way this guide will be structured is that the first part of the guide will have only footage from the intro and the first realm you travel to. Then I'm going to explicitly say we are going into spoiler mode, and I'm going to cover those trophies with reckless abandon and less regard for spoilers. I think that is more than fair. So, enough talk, let's gear up and holster those signature weapons so we can usher in Ragnarok. This is Platinum Hunters, the show where we take a look at everything it takes to get the Platinum Trophy and whether it's worth the effort to achieve it. I don't know why you'd be playing this or looking at this video if you haven't played the first game, which we have a guide right now on the channel and you can check that out. It's pinned right at the top of the video and in the description. And of course, subscribe for more trophy guide videos just like this one because you might just find your next Platinum Trophy. If you have the father and son Platinum Trophy from 2018's God of War, you know exactly what you need to do to get the Bear and the Wolf Platinum Trophy for this game. The similarities between these 2 games are uncanny. You pretty much collect the same things, complete side quests in the same way, and the sequel even has their own version of the Valkyries. You can play the game on any difficulty like the last one, nothing is missable like the last one, it takes about the same amount of time to obtain the Platinum, and the similarities just go on and on. So I guess if you're playing this game first for some reason, your roadmap is pretty much to beat the story first, then complete all side quests tied to the trophies, then go and collect numerous types of collectibles when we have all of the key items that are progression gating you. And of course, defeat all of the endgame bosses that stand in your way of the plat. The Platinum Run is going to require lots of additional guides to help you find stuff, and I've got them all down below to assist you, and some other helpful guides to help you for other parts of the game. As well, watch out for that big spoiler warning I talked about in the intro, because I'm going full tilt after that. So don't go there if you're not looking to get spoiled and not looking for info on those particular trophies. We start this continuation of the story with Fimbulwinter hitting the realms including Midgar, where Kratos, Atreus, and Mimir are staying. From there you have a hell of a tale ahead of you and 13 unmissable trophies to collect, most of them story related but a few related to gear. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time here considering I'm trying to avoid spoilers, and if you get me talking about this game, I will talk and talk and talk until I spoil something. It was that good. So all you need to know is you'll get these 13 trophies as you play, and we can move on to our next category of trophies. The first game had a ton of stuff to collect in it, and with the sequel, you know what they say. The Idun apple doesn't fall far from the world tree, or something like that. There are tons of collectibles and many different collectible types. we will begin breaking down all of these different types by starting with the full belly trophy for maxing out your health and rage meters opening Nornir chests. These are the chests that are sealed with the 3 Norse symbols, and you have to find them in the environment to open the chest. Sometimes you have to break the statues, ring the bells, or light them up. It's like how they were in the last game. They give you either an Adun apple for increasing health or a horn of mead for increasing rage. Now the thing to note about this trophy is that you don't need to collect every single Nornir chest. There are a few extras in the world and you'll get the trophy before you collect them all. The next collectible set is the 38 artifacts for the Curator trophy. These are another thing that's scattered across the 9 realms and are more lore based and relative to the realm you found them in. Aside from the ones you find highlighted in purple, you will also get more artifacts when you complete the side quests, all starting with the titles Favor, Casualties of War. These have you helping spirits who haven't passed on, and they have an artifact that you have to retrieve or rebuild. These get added to your collection. As well, 14 of these 38 artifacts are Kvasir's poems, and this set of 14 gets its own dedicated trophy called the Librarian. What's cool about these poems are that they are written about other PlayStation games and franchises. By a warrior's hand, her origins hidden, her hair red as blood, finding places forbidden. I wonder what game that already has a Platinum Hunters episode could that be? There's The Last of Us, Astrobot, Horizon, and much, much more. These are cool and they are needed for the Librarian trophy and the Curator trophy, so make sure you get it because it's important for both. Okay, this is the part I was speaking to earlier. This is the part where you hop off the train if you haven't played the game yet, or if you just don't want to be spoiled. I mentioned it already, but a lot of things in this guide I have to talk about will have spoilers attached to them. So final warning from here on out, we're going into spoiler mode in 3, 2, 1, now. Now let's get into some armor and weapon trophies, as there are no shortage of them. There are way more ways to augment your weapon stats and even create different combos. The combat system isn't just about mashing the attack button, and there is a much deeper system under the layer of ice even in the first game. Where we start is shields with the Phalanx trophy. The objective of this one is to obtain all different shields that you can find in this game. Honestly, this trophy was an afterthought for me and I got it pretty easily. There was 1 unlocked as part of the story, 3 you can buy from Brock and Sindri, and 1 more that is found in a legendary chest located in the abandoned village area of Vanaheim. It's really easy to get this trophy once you are doing your post-game cleanup. Kratos is an absolute beast naked with no armor on. That sounded way better in my head, damn. But he is even stronger with a full armor set upgraded to the 9. The Ready for Commitment trophy is for doing just that. Fully upgrade 1 armor set to level 9 to get this trophy. Now, it can be any set of armor that's in the game, just as long as you don't mix and match pieces. It has to be the chest, waist armor, and bracers that match each other. When picking a set to fully upgrade, keep in mind the materials you need to collect because they come to you in different ways. Some of them are found in red and legendary chests, and some of them are only found killing certain enemy types. So if you just want to get this trophy over with, upgrade the one where the materials are easy to get. But by the end of everything you have to do to get the PLAT, you'll be able to upgrade at least 1 set, so don't fret too much. Next, we will need to repair the Amulet of Yggdrasil to get the How It's Going trophy. This involves fully repairing all 9 slots of the amulet by collecting Jewels of Yggdrasil and then heading to the blacksmith to have the slots repaired. When you first get the amulet, 2 slots are already unlocked, so now you need to find 7 jewels. The jewels of Yggdrasil are found in legendary chests as well, so you better be opening them up when you see them. They are not confined to one realm too, so I've left information below on where to find them. They are in Midgard, Alfheim, Svartalfheim, and Vanaheim, so best keep your eyes out for the chests or use the guide to find the location. Okay, now we'll get into the most demanding trophy in the game, where you will need to do a number of tasks to fully unlock the trophy. It's called Collector, and it's awarded to you for collecting all of the relics and sword hilts. These relics are new to the game and give you an extra ability to help you beat up baddies, like temporary extra damage and stuff like that. There are 14 of them in total, and there are a ton of ways to collect these. There are some just given to you as part of the story, a couple are found in legendary chests, one of them can be found after you beat the game as a new area pops up in Niflheim, and one in Midgard requires the Draupnir spear weapon to get it. Most of them though will require you to beat a mini boss to collect the relic and even have you craft it afterwards at the blacksmith. This will require you to find some of the lost pages related to the relic, or you won't be able to craft it. Don't worry too much, as I found a lot of these lost pages naturally, and if you're missing anything, I have a guide below to show you where they are. I told you this was going to be a lot of work, didn't I? And it gets worse from here. One of the relics will only be given to you through the Raven Tree in Niflheim, completing the side quest Favor the Eyes of Odin. And yes, that will require you to collect 48 of Odin's ravens scattered through the 9 realms. We did this in the last game if you remember, so it's the same shtick here. After you collect them all, you'll need to defeat a pretty tough boss called the Raven Keeper, and that will get you this relic. Just make sure you're rocking an 8+ armor rating and you will hand this boss their ass. And finally, the way you get the very last relics you need is you need to battle and defeat the dreaded King Hrolf. If you know a thing about King Hrolf, he is the king of his posse of Berserkers, which are this game's Valkyries. Remember the Valkyries? I sure do, cause I was constantly getting my shit pushed in by most of them. For the trophy, Grave Mistake, you will need to defeat King Hrolf for the side quest Favor, Fit for a King, which requires you to defeat his other 12 Berserkers first. There are 10 gravestones that you have to go to, and each one starts up a fight with a Berserker. These fights really do mirror the Valkyries because they all have moves that they share amongst themselves. So some will be more attack focused and force you to block and parry more, while others might use range attacks that force you to get in close. In 2 of the fights, you will face multiple Berserkers at one time, and I really found these battles to be super tricky. The battle with the 3 Berserkers can screw right off. Each Berserker will have a few moves from a total move pool, and this is teaching you to recognize and counter each move, whether it's learning how to dodge them, how to properly parry the move, when to shield break the boss, or even moments when you can interrupt their attack and stun them. All of these fights feel like practice for King Hrolf himself, who has all the moves and will use them to smash your face in. I highly recommend you don't fight this Berserker until you are fully equipped with level 9 gear and weapons that are close to being maxed out. I found this fight easier than fighting the Valkyrie Queen in the last game, but don't take that lightly. When you have him close to dying, he starts going sicko mode and he becomes faster and stronger. Remember that it's more important to capitalize on those moments where you can stun him or parry him so that you can hit him with some serious damage. Have Freya keep pelting him with sonic arrows and her special attack as well. Otherwise, you're on the defense when he's charging at you or trying to pull off some abhorrent attacks that will take a ton of health off of you. If you're absolutely struggling with this fight or any of the other Berserkers, you can drop the difficulty to Give Me Story to make these fights easier. I know, your pride and whatnot, but every man has their limits unless you are a Norse god yourself. You can also keep a resurrection stone on you just in case, you need to come back from the dead instantly. Once you defeat him, you will feel amazing as you're awarded the Grave Mistake Trophy, and that last relic you need for your collection. That's the original reason we fought this bitch in the first place. You'll get the Collector Trophy as well if you now own and have all 14 relics and sword hilts. There are lots of favors to complete in this game, and they almost take us across all 9 realms. They widely range in complexity and time to complete them, so we are going to cover each of them to make sure you are on the right track. And again, we are in the spoiler section of the guide, so we will be talking about plot stuff that may or may not reveal main story details. Each of them pop up at different points of the story, but by the time I was done the story, each side quest was logged in my journal under the favors tab. Most come from talking to NPCs like Brock and Sindri, but some pop up when you explore a certain area. There are 3 side quests to be found in Svartalfheim that have trophies related to it. The first one is one of my favorite ones because of all the exposition and backstory we get for Mimir. It's called Making Amends, and you get it for freeing this whale creature called a Lingbacher from its chains. This looks like a regular island sitting in a lake, but whoa, this was under the water. This task is logged in your journal as Favor Weight of Chains, and I completed it very early on in the game as I was heading to the mines. You just need to make sure that you take off the 3 chains holding this creature so that it can surface. Then the next favor in Svartalfheim only comes after you collect your shiny new Draupnir Spear, which opens up a ton of new areas for you to traverse. The trophy is called Rebel Leader, and the side quest is called Favor Spirit of Rebellion. This one won't take long, and it just involves recovering a special hammer. Go to the area where the statue is, beat down the resident baddies that are guarding it, and bring the hammer back to Durlin. Pretty simple. Now there is one more trophy in Svartalfheim called Funeral for a Friend, but I'm not discussing it in detail. Nope. Too important to spoil even in the spoiler section. Just complete Favor a Viking Funeral, which becomes available to you after you beat the main story. That's all I'm going to say. Now we're headed to Alfheim to catch up with the latest beef tings between the Light Elves and the Dark Elves, which can't seem to freaking coexist. And shout out to the new Light Elf enemies, which look very, very cool. But back to our trophy, Full Gufa, which comes in 2 parts. Upon finishing the initial story parts in the Temple of Light, you can explore the desert part of the map called the Barrens, and complete the favor Secret of the Sands. This will take you into a cave where you free a giant flying jellyfish called a Half-Gufa. Look at this thing looks awesome. Then later on you'll have the right tool to open up another part of the desert called the Forbidden Sands and do the favor Song of the Sands. This will have you venture into yet another cave and free another Half-Gufa. Now with the 2 giant jellyfish reunited, the trophy will be yours, as well as this beautiful sight. The caves themselves are filled with cool puzzles similar to the ones in the Temple of Light. Vanaheim is clearly where all the action is happening in this game, and it has the most favors that you need to complete by a realm mile. The first one is pretty jokes, and it's the trophy New Friends. You will meet Lunda when you first touch down in Vanaheim, and she will give you the favor the Mysterious Orb side quest where you have to retrieve just that, a mysterious orb. Just follow the marker to get it and bring it back to Lunda, who informs you that this marvelous orb is just a chew toy. Nice one, Kratos. Nice one. Then this second side quest is much more serious and personal for one of our heroes. The trophy is called It Was a Good Day, and the side quest is called Favor Freya's Missing Piece. Peace being spelled P-E-A-C-E. This one will have Kratos, Mimir, and Freya going into the place where Freya was married to Odin and the ceremony was held. There are a bunch of paths and puzzles, but it leads you to a place where you will retrieve Meridol, a sword symbolic of Freya and Odin's marriage. It's a good one and one of my fave side quests in the game. After you obtain the sword, you will get the trophy, and you can use the sword in combat to kick the Aesir ass of Odin's army. The next side quest is one of two that we have to do for Ratatoskr, the squirrel who maintains the world tree. I love the idea of the balance of nature being maintained by a squirrel. So cool. Pure of Heart is the trophy, and the side quest is called Favor a Stag of All Seasons. You will need to find the 4 stags that represent the 4 seasons. You will run into your first one after one of the main quests in the crater area of Vanaheim, but then you'll need to revisit Ratatoskr to get food that they like to lure them back into the world tree. Once you get the feed, go to the 4 locations where these magnificent beasts are hiding. All of them are found in the crater, so you don't need to look far to find them all. But I've also included a video down below to help you find them because it's easy to get lost or miss them. The last trophy you have to collect in Vanaheim is Invasive Species. And this encompasses a whole bunch of side quests that I'm going to put on screen for you right now. You will need to battle all of these dragons and drekkies to finish all of these different favors that encompass this big trophy. There are some pretty epic battles, especially the dragons that will dive at you if you don't hit them out of the sky first. All of these dragon hunts and epic hunts take place in areas in the crater, so you don't have to go trudging through the jungle, which I really hate going through. However, some of these hunts will only be possible at night and some in the day, so you'll have to change the day and night cycle a few times to get to where you have to go. As well, beating up dragons and drekkies will get you enough material to craft all 3 pieces of the dragon scaled armor set for the Dragon Slayer trophy. By the end of the game, you'll have the option to craft a full set at the blacksmith, but in order to do that, you need 1 dragon claw and 22 dragon teeth, and you get these from dragon type enemies and bosses. So 2 birds with 1 stone, get the Invasive Species trophy, and get enough material for the Dragon Slayer trophy, and if you want, you could even upgrade it to the max so you have level 9 armor. There is only one side quest trophy dedicated to Midgar, and it's the trophy Besties. This is for completing the Favor Animal Instinct side quests, and there will not be any special stipulations to this one. It's just a cool adventure to find out what's got the wolves, Specky and Savannah spooked. Now these next 2 trophies span a bunch of different realms, especially the Florist trophy, which spans across all of them. Except Asgard, because it's kind of a mess right now. Yeah, if you're diving through here, prepare to hit traffic, because it's going to be under construction for a long ass time. In order to get the trophy, you need to collect 9 flowers scattered across the 9 realms, but again, Asgard is out of commission, so instead Helheim has 2 flowers you need to get. The guide is below with the location, so don't fret, I got you covered. And the other trophy spanning a bunch of realms is called Rightful Place. Here we are again helping our all-important squirrel buddy Ratatoskr with helping find 6 Lindwyrms to assist with maintaining the world tree. Don't know how these little reptile pain in the asses are going to help, but our squirrel buddy says so we're jumping into action. You have to complete the Favor the Lost Lindwyrm side quest by getting all 6 of them from realm tiers. They are found in Svartalfheim and Vanaheim, and their exact locations are found in a guide below. We have 2 more trophies left to cover, and they are both found in the fiery realm of Muspelheim. Fimbulwinter ain't gonna freeze this place over, but before we jump into them and complete the trophy guide, be sure to let me know you're still here by hitting the like button. Things are about to get sweaty as both of these trophies involve a crap ton of combat. The Crucible. It returns in this game. Nothing like bouncing Kratos' Blades of Chaos off some cheeks to get the blood pumping. To get the Trials by Fire trophy, you will have to complete all the combat challenges ahead of you here in the Muspelheim Crucible. Before we even put axes to asses, you will need to find 2 Muspelheim seed pieces to open up the Crucible. I found these naturally, but that's because I was thoroughly looking for stuff. You can find 2 seeds in Svartalfheim in legendary chests, 1 in Motvir's rig, and the other in Albrecht Hollow. Additionally, you can also get seeds in a legendary chest in Muspelheim and a legendary chest in Vanaheim and at Freyr's camp. These are probably much easier to collect if you're missing them, as they're closer to fast travel points. Okay, now we can start the Crucible. You will start off with 6 warm-up challenges that each have unique criteria to them, like defeating 15 enemies without taking damage or defeating 16 enemies within 3 minutes. These 6 challenges are divided into 3 separate rooms, so 2 challenges for each sword. Beating these 6 challenges will unlock the side quest Favor the final challenges, and this will require you to beat 3 additional room challenges, 1 more for each sword, and then 6 much larger and more difficult trials. These 6 additional trials are the thing I want to focus on because they are much tougher to beat if you don't have good gear, and they are also pretty grindy to beat. Last game it was Ivaldi's Workshop that was the problem. This time it's these damn trials. Lovely. So each of the swords in each room has a symbol on them. I don't know if these symbols directly translate, but for the purpose of this video I'm going to call them N, F, and R. Well, if you look at the flora of the main arena, you will see 6 combinations of these letters: NF, NR, FN, FR, RN, and RF. This is a hint for telling you how to unlock one of the 6 final trials. So if you want to unlock the NF trial, you need to beat a challenge from the sword labeled with the N, and then a challenge from the sword with the F in that exact order. If you do it backwards, you will unlock the trial for FN instead, so order does matter. When you go to the room with the symbol in it, you can do any challenge you want and it will satisfy the criteria for that symbol. Don't forget to do the new 3rd challenge that popped up at least once. Then go back to the main arena and touch the sword there to start the corresponding final trial for the NF combination. Then do this 5 more times for the other combinations. This is what I mean by it's grindy, because you will be replaying challenges you already beat multiple times. This really feels just as padded as Ivaldi's Workshop from the first game, and it took a while to complete each final trial. But once you beat the 6th final trial, that will make you the conqueror of the Crucible and award you the trophy finally. Then our final trophy of this Norse trophy run is one that triggered all of my fight or flight responses from the first game. The trophy is called the True Queen, and you unlock this trophy here in Muspelheim only if you battle and defeat Gná, the true Valkyrie Queen. Oh boy, another Valkyrie to fight. I thought I took out all of them last time. Nope. Here is Odin's most loyal Valkyrie of them all, and she has all of the dirty tricks the other Valkyrie Queen had, and some new moves. I am so tired of eating that damn heal. I had to remember how to dodge that attack properly and her other attacks, and thankfully my muscle memory started to come back to me as I kept fighting Gná. You pretty much have to be max gear and weapons to fight Hrolf, and it's the same situation here with Gná. I wouldn't bother trying to beat her without it, cause you will get thrown around. Even if you drop the difficulty down for this boss too, it's still going to be a tough bout. Between Hrolf and Gná, I found that Gná was more difficult, so this will be the ultimate test of your combat prowess. And if you win this very personal grudge match, you will be given the True Queen trophy and end this platinum journey that has been 2 games in the making. Whew! What a trophy run. I can't say this trophy run was a total surprise this time around, but it certainly hit the highs of the last one. This game was totally worth jumping into right away, and I'm wholly satisfied with what potentially is the final Sony exclusive to land on the PS4. So if you beat up another Valkyrie Queen and the very Valkyrie-like Berserker squad, collected a ton of new gear, weapons, and loot, brutally beat down a ton of baddies, concluded Kratos and Atreus' Norse journey full of mystery and whimsy, and collected all the trophies, Congratulations! You will be awarded the Bear and the Wolf Platinum Trophy for God of War Ragnarok. As far as DLC and add-on trophy sets, I'm not sure what they have planned for this game. The first God of War had no additional trophy sets, not even one for New Game Plus, so maybe that could be the precedent here. The other thing that supports that is game director Eric Williams saying they put everything they had into this game and that DLC is unlikely. So maybe this game gets nothing. Maybe it gets just a New Game Plus trophy set, like most Sony exclusives tend to do, like Horizon. Or maybe there might be more story stuff to cover, who knows? Anything could happen, but if it's a substantial piece of content, I will cover it in its own video. But I predict it will just be getting New Game Plus stuff, but we'll see what happens. Overall, the trophy run is just as good as the first one. It gets out of the way of the story and lets you do everything post-game with nothing missable. There are more cool side quest trophies, more oppressive Valkyrie type bosses to take on, lots of awesome post-story things to do for trophies, and other good stuff worth having their own dedicated trophies. If you like getting the plat for the first game, then this plat will be a no-brainer for you. In all honesty, God of War Ragnarok is more of the first game, for the better, as they tell a very exciting and fulfilling story to conclude this chapter of Kratos' story, but also, it can be worse if there are certain things you didn't like about the first game. Like I didn't like Evaldi's Workshop, and they kinda replaced that with the Crucible padding in this game. But I also said God of War was one of the best trophy runs I played in 2021, when I first played it, so considering how similar an experience Ragnarok is, again, I had a great time here. All I'm trying to say is that your overall experience won't be all that surprising if you played the first one. That's really how this trophy run is essentially going to shake out. So that concludes Kratos' Norse adventure for now, but as we know, Kratos is not native to these Norse lands. There is a whole saga with 6 games for us to still explore that came from the PS2, PS3, and PSP eras. That's where we will head next when it comes to God of War content, and all I know is that this version of Kratos is far more brooding and brutal than the one that iced over in this Norse saga. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I hope I did a good enough job making sure to wait people out if there's spoilers or not. The guys that are still watching now, you should all have played the game, or you're just looking for certain pieces of info because you're playing it right now. Some people probably didn't hear my spoiler warning and they made it here anyways, and that's on you. And then there's some people who just simply don't care and wanted to see it anyways, and that's cool too. However way you made it this far into the video, I thank you for watching as always. And let me know down in the comment section what you thought about this trophy run, what you thought about this game, and any and all thoughts about God of War Ragnarok. Put them down below, let me hear it. I want to answer you guys and let's talk about it. And of course, I hope all your trophy hunting expeditions go incredibly well, even though there's Fimbulwinter to deal with and Ragnarok to smack down. Peace out.